In this segment, I'm going to show you what defines a simple pulley system. And to get us started, I'm going to use this system. This is not a simple pulley system, but it has some characteristics about it that are pertinent to the definition of a simple pulley system, and I want you to see that. Then I'm going to put up an actual simple pulley system and talk about that. First of all, this is a 4-to-1 system. Now, this emphasizes that in non-simple pulley systems, we can't just count supporting ropes and get the ratio from it. This would imply it's a 2-to-1, 1, 2, 3 would imply it's a 3-to-1, and we really don't count this one because it's not applied down here. This is actually a 4-to-1. So we can use the T method to analyze it, and we'll in just a minute. But what I want you to see first off is that we have two pulleys that move, and this one's just a redirect. It keeps the system from falling, gives me a convenient place to work from. So this is really, if I pull right here, that's the complete system, and it is a 4-to-1. Notice the action of these two pulleys as I raise the load. You see how much faster this pulley is moving than that pulley? You can see the difference in the travel as well. So we have a speed differential. This one travels much slower than this one. Easy to see. Keep that in mind. We're going to refer back to that with the next system. Now, I claim this is a 4-to-1. We can use the T method to confirm that, and let's do that next. Again, we're going to start at the pull line, and I'm going to assume I have 1 pound right here. It doesn't matter what we assume because we're not really lifting weight. We're trying to see if you apply a certain force here, what force would be generated here if it were possible to generate that force due to the load. So let's look at it. 1 pound here. We have 1 pound here. We have 1 pound here, and it terminates. So there is no carry over of that up here because it's not a pulley. It's a terminating knot. In fact, this could be a separate rope from this and have both of them terminated up here. I just put them together. But I do have tension here. We'll say 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound. The point right here, due to the pulley principle, has a force of this plus this. So we've got 1 pound plus 1 pound is 2 pounds right here. And look what that does. That applies 2 pounds to this rope, goes through a lossless pulley, and creates 2 pounds right here. 2 pounds plus 2 pounds is 4 pounds. And what did it take to generate that 4 pounds? 1 pound. So we have a 4-to-1. Now let's look at a different 4-to-1 system that falls into the category of simple pulley system. Here's the next 4-to-1 pulley system. This indeed is a simple pulley system, and you'll have to see from the definition that it is in just a minute. Let me describe what we have here. The pull line starts here, goes through here, and it just weaves its way through and terminates up here. We have twice as many pulleys in this system that we did in the other system we looked at. So you'd think if anything was not a simple system, it would be this one. But let me give you a definition, and the definition I'm going to use comes from the book On Rope, co-authored by Bruce Smith. And in that book he says that for a pulley system to be defined as a simple system, all the moving pulleys, now let's identify our moving pulleys right here. These don't move, they're tied to anchors. All the moving pulleys have to move toward the anchor. So there they go, moving toward the anchor, so it meets that. But there's a second qualification, and this is what separates this one from the previous one we looked at. The moving pulleys have to move toward the anchor at the same rate of speed. Let's see if that's true. Well, now we've got a little offset going on here, but as you see, these two pulleys move together, and they do in fact move up at the very same speed. So that defines it as a simple pulley system. You recall in that previous pulley system we looked at, the lower pulley moved a lot slower than the upper pulley. There was a world of difference. You could see it easily. So this is indeed a simple pulley system. Now, there's a trick. If you can confirm that you have a simple pulley system, and it can take on many forms, but if you can show that the moving pulleys move toward the anchor and they all move at the same rate of speed, you can use this trick. You look at the load and you see what supports the load. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. That's the ratio, or mechanical advantage, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. So, I mean, if we had another pulley here and 2 more lines over here, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it'd be a 6 to 1, but we have to establish and determine that it is a simple pulley system. Just counting lines only works with simple pulley systems. Once you get into a compound or a complex, you can't use that method. So in order to count lines and determine mechanical advantage, you have to know it's a simple pulley system. While we're here, we know we've got a 4 to 1 here. Let's look at our anchor point and see what effect we have at the anchor. Again, we're going to have to use a T method here to do this. So we're going to imagine we have a pound here, goes through here with a pound. So a pound plus a pound is 2 pounds. So right here, 2 pounds. Same thing goes through here. We're not interested in this. These forces direct this way. But we have a pound here and a pound here. 1 pound plus 1 pound is 2 pounds. So far we've got 2 pounds here and 2 pounds here. This rope continues on and terminates up here. Since we had a 1 pound that goes all the way through the system, this applies 1 pound. So we have 2 pounds plus 2 pounds plus 1 pound. We have a 5 to 1 ratio at the load. So 1 pound produces 5 times that force up here. Well, a 5 to 1 at the anchor point doesn't sound good. But it's not that bad either, because it's 5 to 1 with respect to the load in this line, not 5 to 1 to the load. In fact, let's look at what it does actually loaded at based on our load. Let's just assume that we've got 100 pounds right here, and we know this is a 4 to 1 system that's been established. So with 100 pounds here, that means there's going to be 25 pounds in each one of these lines, including this one, because the rope runs continuously through the system. It doesn't have any termination in between, just here, and I'm holding it here. So let's look at that anchor loading and see what it is. We'll use that T method. I'm going to assume, since we're talking about 100 pounds here, that means we'd have 25 pounds here, 25 pounds here. That 25 and that 25 add up to 50 right here. Well, that same 25 is here, same 25 is here, so this 25 and this 25 add up to 50 right here. That same 25 runs around here and comes back up to here as 25 pounds. So we have 50 plus 50 plus 25 is 125 pounds. So if we had a 100-pound load, it would take 125 pounds at the anchor to support it. And that extra 25 pounds comes from right here. Notice this is directed up here, not down here. And that's what causes the extra 25 pounds up there. But that's a whole lot better than just a simple 1 pulley redirect, because it generates twice the force up there of the load, which is the same as my hold point or pull line. In the next segment, we're going to start looking at some 3 to 1 systems, including a block and tackle, and what makes it unique as a block and tackle, even though it's 3 to 1 like many other systems. And we're going to also look at a Z-rig and see how all these things kind of fit together to form mechanical advantage for us.